our top focus, more and more women are disappearing from the workforce in India. According to the data compiled by the World Bank and this report by Bloomberg, between 2010 and 2020, the number of working women in India dropped from 26% to 19%. And this was even before the pandemic. With the dawn of COVID, a bad situation has only turned worse. Economists estimate that female employment plummeted to 9% by this year. And if India is unable to restore jobs for women, this could potentially shave trillions of dollars of global economic growth. Data shows women have been less likely than men to return to the workforce. Closing this employment gap could expand India's GDP by close to a third by 2050. That equates to nearly $6 trillion. What's worse is that although women in India represent 48% of the population, they contribute only around 17% of the GDP. To make sense of this data and these numbers, I'm joined by a special guest on the broadcast, Sabina Dewan, who's founder of the Just Jobs Network, joins me on the broadcast. Ms. Dewan, thank you for making time and speaking to Mirror Now on this very significant story. We are talking about women disappearing from the workforce and its impact on the economy. The numbers are stunning. What is your take on this development? Women are disappearing, and we've also seen that this report highlights how it's easier for men to make a comeback, but women have no choices left.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. You're absolutely right. And I think this is not only something that is something that we need to pay attention to, but it's actually something that demands urgent action. So why is the drop in female labor force participation happening? Let's first acknowledge that females have been dropping out for well over a decade, even before COVID. And this drop can be attributed to factors ranging from, for example, girls staying in education longer and delaying their entry into the labor market, to what is often called the middle income effect, which is families that were doing well sometimes say to their women, you no longer need to work. One income is enough to support the family. So those women drop out. But even underneath these seemingly positive developments, lurk very extensive patriarchy and constraints on women's empowerment that prevent them from participating in labor markets. So we know that women still carry the disproportionate burden of domestic work and unpaid care work. And COVID has obviously made this much worse, with women having to take care of kids staying home from school and seniors and then their husbands being home. And so the domestic care burden went up, so women dropped out even further. There's also not enough demand for women workers. And the reasons for this range from employers that don't want to invest in safe transport, hostels for women, lighting, separate toilets. They also don't want the liability of having to care for a woman's safety. To those employers that simply believe that women have limited capacities relative to men. So until we actually address some of these underlying causes that then manifest in inequities in the labor market, that manifest in poor working conditions. So these factors together then mean that women drop out of the labor force, and we see this ongoing decline in female labor force participation, which, as I said, has been going on for more than a decade, but certainly has accelerated post-COVID for all of these reasons.
Absolutely. So, Sabina, what are the solutions? Because what we have seen is that policymakers have, or the legislators have either failed to see this pattern, or not enough is being done. Because what we are seeing is that this is related to the economy, and why not equal gender participation in the workforce is a catalyst in order to boost any economy. So why is it not happening in India?
That's a great question. And the first answer to that is that the positions of power are still disproportionately held by men, right?
Yes,
we need more women leaders to begin with. But that said, and I think we need to take very concrete steps to make sure we have more female politicians, and not just politicians, mukhyas on paper where really their husbands or brothers are calling the shots. Not in that way. We actually need more women in positions of power. But beyond that, I think, it's very easy for society to subscribe to these patriarchal norms and say, you know what, let's look at gig work. Let's just give women options to work from home. I'm all for gig work. There's certainly merits for gig work, and whether I like it or not, the train has left the station, gig work is growing exponentially. But we really need to ask ourselves as a society whether just fostering work from home options for women truly gives them a choice to be empowered and claim their space in public forums and outside the home, right? We need to empower our women in jobs like that. And we need to make sure that the basics are in place. There should be, employers should be mandated for having safety, for having, childcare, for having safe transport, separate toilets. All of these factors are extremely important in fostering better participation for women, minimum wages, making sure that they're implemented and that there's pay equity and conditions of work equity, right? Why would I want to go to a job where I'm treated badly, paid poorly, unequal? Why would I want to do that? I might as well stay at home and invest in my children and domestic work. So we need to address all of these factors, both in the home in terms of addressing patriarchy and reducing the unpaid care burden on women, but also equally outside the home, making sure there's urban infrastructure and ancillary policies, childcare, etc., that then allow women to go out and claim public space as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Sabina Dewan. Very, very important points that you made. And thank you for your time. Hope somebody is watching this and the policymakers will take a cue from this and do something about these women who've disappeared from the workforce and initiate some action in order to bring them back so that this economy of ours can get a boost from women participation. Thank you for joining us on the show. Moving on, the big story of the day in a major respite for dine-in customers like you and me. The government has urged restaurants not to levy service charge on consumers. Now, the government has called this practice illegal. The Consumer Affairs Ministry has told restaurant associations to stop the practice of levying service charge. Meanwhile, National Restaurant Association has said that there is nothing illegal in levying service charge as it benefits the establishment. This decision comes after several customers raised complaints over restaurants forcing them to pay service charge despite it being optional. All right, for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Adrija, who's joining us from Mumbai. Adrija, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Have we heard from the people yet? Because a lot of times there is this conflict, this silent conflict. A lot of consumers are able to say it openly, but some of them are silently getting frustrated that if it's optional, why are we being made to pay the service charge? What are the people of Mumbai saying after this decision? Adrija, are you able to hear me?
Yes. So actually, I just spoke to a couple of people about the decision that has come over right now. And all of them have said that they are really happy. Right now, I'm standing inside a restaurant and I'm being joined with the restaurant owner. So we'll go to her and ask her about how she feels because the customers are really happy out there. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. I just want to ask you first that do you charge service taxes on your restaurant?
No, right now we are not charging service tax on our restaurant bills. But I feel that that decision is really sad for the restaurants because I feel our service people are not going to get the tips they deserve.
So are you seeing any problem because of like any issues that you're facing because the service taxes are not, will not be able to charge from now on?
Actually, because of, online payments right now, which customers are doing through Paytm, Google Pay or their cards, we are not able to collect the tips for the waiters. That's the reason I think most of the restaurants have started applying service charges in their bills. And if we want to charge it, then government should come with the option of, a percentage, which is fixed percent what we can charge on the bills as a service.
So, what about the fact that, a lot of customers are actually raising concerns that they have been mishandled by the restaurant owners because they have requested them to remove service charges. And as you said, the tips are getting less. So, how are your employees reacting to that?
Actually, our employees are not happy because, all the motivation that comes from the tips which they get from the customers, and even the relationship which builds up, after receiving the tips, I think it takes the relation to the next level in like the customer and the service people. And moreover, for a fine dine restaurant like ours, we are not only giving the food as a quality, but we are also giving, the crockery is there, the the ambience is there, so we have to take care of everything. And as we calculate everything, we have to maintain that kind of a staff, to take care of the restaurant. So I feel it is necessary somewhere to have certain amount of service charges on the bills.
Thank you so much for joining with us. So as you can see, the restaurant owners are not that happy about this decision, but the customers are really happy. So that's all from my side.
All right, Adrija, thank you for updating us with the reaction. I'm also joined by my colleague Neha, who's reporting from Bengaluru. Neha, a lot is said about this quote-unquote forced tip. Like I said, and as I was telling Adrija also, that a lot of people silently suffer because they don't want to suffer that embarrassment of fighting with the managers at restaurants. But a lot of people question this, that when it's optional, why are we being forced to pay? But now it comes as a big relief. What are the people of Bengaluru saying after the government has called it illegal?
Well, in fact, Archana, I'm going to take this question straight to the people that are going to be impacted the most by this, if at all. So I'd like to ask you, the central government has now said that any hotel charging a service charge is illegal and that hotels should do away with it. As a customer, have you ever felt, a pinch paying a service charge, or have you ever thought the need to question the service charge? Because it's that minimum amount, that's ensured to the waiters, to the staff of every hotel. Do you think that, did you ever feel forced to pay a service charge? How are you going to react to this move that's coming now?
First of all, I didn't know that. Just now I came to know from you. So, see, sometimes also definitely it's pinching our pockets. But I don't feel that is any force elements are there to pay our service charge. Yeah, we can do it like this way if they withdraw the service charge. Okay, so there are areas where we can pay to the waiters and all who giving the service, the tips, as we call it, the tips. If the service is there, I don't think so, then we don't have to give the tips because it already is there inclusive. Now, it is totally depends upon that man-to-man varies there. They still though they're charging service tax and somebody willing to pay the tips, that is there. So they're not asking anything or they're not demanding us. If it is there, the service charge, if they were to withdraw it, I don't have to say because it is government decision, but I don't think so. I ever felt that they are pushing me or they are compelled me to just pay those bills as a service tax itself. Okay.
Do you somewhere feel that this comes as a huge relief to a lot of people today? Because most, big hotels or chains today we see levy that service charge as a part of the bill itself. So do you somewhere feel that, this has come as a huge relief for a lot of people?
Yeah, definitely. Why not? Because the burden of the pockets, if you just release it, everybody will be happy. As like customers will be very relieved that the services, definitely, I think customers will be happy for that. I don't know the hotels guys because that is against them. But yeah, definitely. I as a customer, I said I would love to. And on that case, what would happen, if the service tax, if they relieve it, and they will be more willing to give you the service. They feel it. I should earn that service. It is not inclusive the bill. Whatever the service you do, they might be try to convince you in that way or give you the service on that perspective that you feel that the service is very good, nice, and I should pay. Okay. I think that comes within that. So they feel that is a very good like that. I have to the service will be more better than that what I used to do earlier. Okay. So on that point of view, the customers also pay or visitors also can think, yeah, I can pay for it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Archana, you heard it over there from a customer, Of course, what they are saying is a lot of mixed reactions coming into this. Yes, while some people, have gone on to say that they wouldn't mind paying that slight service charge, if it meant that the waiters or the staff for that matter, in fact, could be taken care of. However, some others saying that it's definitely come as a huge relief or a respite. And, the fact that now this has been termed as illegal may just mean that with hotels not, charging this now, that people or customers, rather would in fact come forward and possibly pay higher tips is what, he's really gone on to say. Back to you.
Right. Thank you, Neha. Shweta is also joining us on this big update. Shweta, I can see that, people are welcoming this move. What have you picked up so far, the reactions after the government has said that service charge is illegal?
Well, absolutely. As far as Mumbai people are concerned, according to them, this is a welcoming decision by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, as they feel that they will be getting more chances of going to restaurant with big family. While we were speaking to Mumbaikas, they are happy about the fact that the service charges, they don't have to pay this anymore. And as far as their family is concerned, there can be more outings, more restaurant eating could be possible after this. As we know, Mumbai is in fact the hub of, numerous restaurant, hotels, and this time this is coming as a huge decision from where consumers are feeling happy about it. Moreover, places like Mumbai, where every penny counts, where everyone is running round the clock to earn their bread and butter. At this point of given time, when such huge decision comes from the Ministry of Consumer Affairs about the service taxes being illegal, the people out here are extremely happy about it. And yes, they are looking forward that more outings can happen with the family, especially in the weekend, where people used to think about their budget and their constraint and used to cook at home. Now this will be a time where they can enjoy with their family. In fact, many people, those who come, with their family to Mumbai. In fact, Mumbai is always a place where we find tourists. So everyone is being happy about it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Shweta. My colleague Ila is reporting from the national capital now. Ila, thank you for joining us. You must have heard what our colleagues in Bengaluru and Mumbai are saying. What is happening in the national capital? I'm sure people are also celebrating and welcoming this move in Delhi.
Archana, you have listened the side of people and people's story. Now let's go to the restaurant owner's side and let's hear from them that what they have to say about government decision against the service charges lead by the restaurants. I have with me the Flavor of China's restaurant owner. This is located in Delhi's CP, which is, you can say, heart of the city. Ma'am, what do you have to say about the government? Government has asked the restaurant association that they have to stop levying the service charges.
No, they have not come up with any decision at the moment. We've talked to the people who were there in the meeting. They said the government said that they will talk to everybody, they'll consider all the aspects, and then they'll get back to us. Okay. So they've not taken any concrete decision until today.
So what do you have to say? Should service charges be levied?
Yes, it is levied all over the world. It is not just levied in India, it's levied all over the world. And it's it's a general practice which is carried on all over the world. So why not here? See, we are charging service. We are not forcing anybody to pay. If somebody says, I don't want to give, then we deduct that price immediately and then we give him the bill. It's not that we are just saying, no, you have to pay. No. If people pay voluntarily also. I'm not saying everybody is asking us not to charge service charge. People pay voluntary. They know, because see, it's written on every page of the menu card. It's written outside that we levy 8% service charge. So once they come inside and they order for the food, they're very aware of the facts that they are going to be charged service charge. And I don't understand and it has been not pocketed by us, it's been distributed to all the waiters, the cooks, the helpers, the sweeper, everybody. They get a cut out of it. So if you stop me from charging service charge, it will be their loss, not my loss. I'm making money out of the food I sell. I'm not making anything out of the service charge. It is there. So, you know, you are actually hitting a poor man and we giving them, I read a certain article today, they said we don't underpay the salaries. We give them proper salaries, but still they want service charge. It's been a practice since such a very, very long time, and they've been getting it.
So you are saying that you don't forcefully the restaurants?
No. We don't force anybody. If somebody just tells us, I don't want to pay service charge, we don't take it. We just deduct it from the bill and immediately take the whatever they've ordered.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask if in near future government decided to ban the service charge and you won't be allowed to take service charges, then what? How do you see that?
I see it as a very, very bad thing for these guys who are working for me, because they are making good amount of money from the service charge, and suddenly they don't have that money in their pocket. I think it will be a very bad impact on their lifestyle also.
So, ma'am, don't they get shares from the whatever earnings the restaurant is already getting?
No, restaurant not getting any earning. We pay them salaries. There's no share. They're not shareholders in the restaurant. They are getting salaries. They're getting good salaries. Whatever the salaries been decided by the government, they're getting the salaries. So we're not getting anything from the service charge. They are getting the service charge. It is distributed as per the rank to everybody from the top till the bottom. So they take the service charge. So if suddenly stop the service charge, Indians don't tip well. I'm very sorry to say that, but they don't tip well.
Yeah. Archana, as you can hear that the restaurant owners are saying that if the service charges would be levied, then it's the loss of those who served here, be it the waitress or the cooks or the sweepers or the cleaners of the restaurants. It's their loss and not the loss of restaurant directly. And as you can hear that that the restaurant owners are saying that it's been in practice for a long time. On one side, we have seen that people are happy, but on the other side, restaurants are saying that it was never a compulsion. Back to you.
Right. All right, thank you so much. A big thank you to all my colleagues, Ela, Shweta, Adrija and Neha for getting us people's voices on this big update. And it's time for a short break, and a lot more is lined up on the other side. Stay tuned.